This disappearance shocked all of Canada and led to changes that are still felt today. The most mysterious case with shocking details that remains unsolved. Today, I want to tell you about an 8-year-old girl who vanished from her own home in a secure residential complex. A hot July day in 1985, Etobicoke, a quiet, tree-lined suburb of Toronto. The neighborhood radiated comfort and safety. High-rise apartment buildings, well-maintained grounds, playgrounds. Etobicoke was a rapidly developing area back then, new, modern, and most importantly, peaceful. Massive residential towers with pools, sports courts, and security. Parents let their kids play outside without fear. That was normal in the 80s. No one could have imagined that right here in a crowded building, a disappearance would occur that would shake the entire nation. Subscribe so you don't miss new episodes about the most fascinating and shocking cases. Nicole Louise Morin was born on April 1st, 1977, in Toronto, Ontario. She was an only child who grew up surrounded by love and care. Neighbors described her as a lively, curious girl who loved adventures but always stayed cautious. Nicole was a happy child who loved swimming and often spent time at the pool near her home. Her parents devoted time to her upbringing and education, teaching her important safety rules. Don't talk to strangers. Don't wander far from home. She had big brown eyes, shoulder-length brown hair with bangs, and a charming smile with a small gap between her front teeth. Her mother, Jeanette, worked, and though often busy, she always made time for her daughter. Her father lived separately. In 1985, the Morins officially filed for divorce. Nicole stayed with her mom, and her father rented them an apartment in an upscale residential complex with numerous amenities for residents: a sauna, pool, gym, tennis court, and more. The entire high-rise property was well secured. Only people with a special key could access the grounds, so most parents felt completely safe letting their children play in the enclosed courtyard. Art Morin covered all expenses for his ex-wife and daughter, paying child support every month. This left him with almost nothing for himself, as his income as a driver was modest. On July 30th, 1985, the heat outside was unbearable. Nicole and her friend Jennifer agreed to meet in the building's lobby at 11 a.m. to go swimming at the pool. Nicole woke up, had breakfast, and at 10:30 went down to the first floor to pick up a package for her mom. She went back upstairs, handed over the package, changed into a bright orange striped swimsuit, grabbed a purple towel, called Jennifer on the intercom, and said she was on her way down. The girl put on her shoes and closed the front door behind her. From 11 o'clock, Jennifer stood in the lobby waiting for her friend, but Nicole never appeared. After 15 minutes, Nicole still hadn't shown up. So Jennifer called her mother, Jeanette Morin. "Isn't Nicole coming down yet?" the girl asked. "She must be on her way to you," her mother replied. Jeanette Morin didn't think much of the conversation with Jennifer. She immediately forgot about it and continued with her tasks. Nicole's mom ran a home daycare at the time. She had small children she was responsible for, so she couldn't leave the apartment, explained Nicole Sutton, who investigated the girl's disappearance. Only after 6 p.m., when her daughter hadn't returned to the apartment, did the woman become worried and called emergency services. Until then, she was sure the child was fine because her daughter's friend hadn't called back and the kids could have simply been playing. Police responded to the call very quickly and began active searches and questioning in all the apartments. Sutton explained. Search teams quickly created a description of the girl. They began showing her image to people while questioning them. At the time, the neighborhood where Nicole lived was very safe. No one would have ever expected something like this could happen there. So this event really shocked many people. It happened at a time when it was normal to let your children go out on their own, according to the City of Toronto's official website. Within the first 24 hours, police went through every apartment in the residential complex. If any residents weren't home or wouldn't open the door, officers forced entry or picked the locks. But even this brought no results. They questioned every person they encountered. No one had seen anything. Toronto residents were shocked by what happened. They voluntarily put up posters asking, "Have you seen Nicole?" The parents announced a $50,000 reward for anyone who returned their daughter safe and sound. During the search, Art Morin moved back in with his wife to double their search efforts. But several days of searching yielded no results for police or the parents. There were no suspects, no witnesses, no clues. Nicole had seemingly vanished into thin air. No one even knew if she had entered the elevator to go down to the lobby or not. There wasn't a single solid lead. No one could figure out at what exact moment the girl disappeared. Police put forward their first and primary theory: abduction. The parents doubled the reward amount. Within a few days, the search for Nicole Morin reached massive proportions. Every street was covered with portraits of the missing girl. It seemed that, at the time, there wasn't a single person in Toronto who didn't know what Nicole looked like. Her images were on every billboard and bulletin board. Police searched every location that could provide any leads. This included dumpsters, factories, dry cleaners, and utility rooms. Every trash can, garage, and abandoned building was checked. More than 900 people were involved in the search, police officers and volunteers. The only suspect who emerged was a middle-aged woman with light hair who was standing in the lobby on the day of Nicole's disappearance, writing something in a notebook. Police distributed her photo to search teams, but they never found her. Who was this woman, and how did she get onto the property? After all, you could only get there with a special key. Police were convinced that the girl was abducted by a resident of her own building, since the child was not seen leaving the residential complex or in the elevator. A major surprise in the case came when police found an entry in the missing girl's personal diary. Shock! She was planning to disappear. It was unclear whether this was just the fantasy of an 8-year-old child or serious intentions. On top of that, many people interfered with the case. They called the police with information that turned out to be false after investigation. Many volunteers flooded the phone lines to give search teams advice on where and how to look for the child. This often led to false leads, and police simply wasted time. Once, when Nicole would have been 11 years old, Toronto police received a call. Someone reported hearing children's screams in a nearby forest park. Police arrived at the scene but found nothing. For many years, the parents believed their child would come home. They established a friendly relationship with each other and no longer wanted to waste time on arguments. Year after year, Art and Jeanette hired private detectives to find out what happened to their daughter. Her father even quit his job to conduct his own search. Years later, Nicole's childhood friend took up the case. She began reconstructing the events of the day of the disappearance minute by minute, digging through archives and searching for neighbors. But this also led nowhere. In addition to abduction, Police considered two other theories, murder and running away, but there was no evidence for either. In 2007, Jeanette died of a heart attack, but Art continued searching for his daughter. In 2014, he managed to bring renewed attention to Nicole's case. He worked with police to create an age-progressed photo of her and participated in making videos about Nicole that were posted on major news websites.
Very shortly before she disappeared.
After 3 decades, Art Morin keeps only a few mementos of his daughter Nicole.
You cannot have this in front of you all the time. Otherwise, can't take it.
When his 8-year-old disappeared, he spent more than a decade hiring private investigators and traveling the world to pursue tips in the hopes of finding her.
I was positive I would find her. I thought I knew in my mind that somebody took her away.
And now?
Well, I don't know what happened.
On July 30th, 1985, Nicole Morin was supposed to meet a friend in the lobby of her West Mall apartment to go for a swim. She never made it. That set off an intensive police search and worldwide media attention, but in the end, there have been no clues as to what happened to the 8-year-old. Last year, police hoped to find answers when they released a new reenactment video of Nicole's disappearance on social media. That led to a tip in Springwater Township, where dozens of officers from Toronto and OPP searched a large wooded area.
As of 2021, Toronto police still don't know what happened to Nicole. The investigation has no clues and no suspects. Art Morin continues waiting for his daughter to come home, and he asks anyone who sees a woman matching her description who would be 44 years old today to contact the police.